I did it. I'm here again. Hit a few snags and did it anyway. I am so impressed with myself right now. It's not even funny. I made a thumbnail quickly. It was too big to use as a thumbnail, and I managed to quickly grab my phone and Google how to get it smaller and made it too small, and the pixels look horrible, but not worrying about that. And all of the hurdles that you hit when you think is only going to take like a minute or something, and it takes like 20, and you have ADHD, so you're all over the place. But we made it. I am aware that the video probably looks the exact same as it did last time, and that really is okay. What I'm going to do in this video, because we got to make it quick, I don't have a long time to do this, and my entire family of 3 plus me knows I'm doing this. I'm not sure how that is going down tonight. So let me just pull up the PowerPoint or Keynote I made that's going to take me through the content I'm doing. I'm going to make this half the screen so I can see my slideshow. So today's topics are going to be basically like a life update. So 1 month ago, I made a whole series of videos that I didn't post, like most of my videos, talking about what I am trying to build into my life and like set habits. I don't like that word because it makes it sound like something you have to do, but more like rituals, things that I do every day because I want to do them, because I feel the impact they're having on me. So for the last year and a half, I have been off work trying to rebuild my life, I guess, or trying to improve my life experience. Seeing doctors, therapists, all kinds of doctors, both physical, psychological, trying to see things in a more positive light so that living day-to-day life doesn't bring me down, and I see things in more a positive outlook. Once a month, I will be doing this update, which is why I created a keynote presentation. So I covered the same points again and again. I'm not completely organized, because if I was completely organized, I wouldn't have to make YouTube videos using the live stream function where they automatically get posted for me. I would be making YouTube from the videos that I've already got, and I would be able to, without too much pain, edit it in iMovie, which I've been using for a long time now, without hitting so many roadblocks that just totally derail me. So this is the way we're doing it this month, and who knows how many months we'll be doing it this way. I have my first slide, and what I had put together is 5 different areas of my life that I am trying to improve. So we have item 1 being physical health. Item 2 is psychological health. Item 3, emotional resilience. Item 4, cognitive abilities. And item 5, spiritual health. So looking at the journals I've been doing every day, and, reflecting on all of the books that I read and the podcasts that I consume and all the awesome creators that I follow and, keep up to date with. These are the 5 things, the 5 themes that keep coming up for me. These are the main areas where I know I could make some improvement, and it would have a big impact on my life. And these themes seem to pop up all the time. So let's start with physical health. For my physical health, I have been going to the gym. I joined the gym in October when we closed our pool. Prior to October, I was swimming every day. And I say every day loosely. It was a lot. It was every day for some weeks. It was 3 times a week or more for basically the entire time the pool was open. So, like, late April, early May, because we have it heated, with the exception of when we had guests staying with us for an entire month. Then I kind of fell off the rails, but that's okay. So, physical health, I have been working out. I have gotten back into intermittent fasting, which I absolutely love and I've had a lot of success with before. And I can happily tell you, or tell me, because I am the one watching this, that I have consistently worked out since October, like every day, I would say. Not October, let me think. We had guests for the month of August, I believe. Isn't that terrible that I can't even remember? We had guests for an entire month, but after that, yeah, I think it was August. In September, I went into the pool almost every single day and did a 30-minute swim. And when the pool closed, I joined the gym straight away, and I've been going to the gym between 3 and 5 times a week, and I feel so much better. Um, I do have fibromyalgia. Lucky me. Apparently, that comes on when you go through a stressful time in your life. It's one of those things that kind of gets activated. And also in women, lucky me. And also at this wonderful perimenopausal time of life, lucky me. All three. So I do have a good amount of pain pretty much all the time in one or more of my joints. And I noticed that is significantly better with the exercise. I was just at the gym with my son and I did an arm exercise on a resistance machine and noticed that when I got off, my arms felt better than they'd felt in such a long time, like looser, which is like the opposite of what I would have expected. So I concur with every um, every article ever written about exercise being good for your physical and mental health. I concur. Excuse me. Sleep is something I've also been very good with in that same time frame. So I have been going to bed at a pretty consistent time and waking up and getting out of bed at a pretty consistent time. Great for physical health. We know it restores energy levels and it resets hormone levels and it allows our bodies to regenerate, rest, repair, similar to what it does for your psychological health. It allows all of the hormones to settle down. It reduces levels, I think it's adenosine in the blood. I'm a scientist and I love it. That starts to lower down and that helps you also think into circadian rhythm. I haven't researched any of this. I haven't written any of it down, so don't quote me on this. It's all in there somewhere. I've spent most of my life learning about science and facts and chemical pathways and metabolism and all that good stuff. So I did also and I'm not going to try and get it because I'm going to make a big mess of the video. But I did fairly recently listen to the audiobook Unbreakable by Dr. Vonda Wright. And she had like a little data collection set. It was a set of questions where you recorded your physical fitness and your strength. So I do have my measurements from a month ago and wanted to do it today. I really, come on, Jen, you can do this. I'm gonna get it so I can compare it and see where I am now from a month ago. What I do know is my sleep score that I get from my Apple Watch has been consistently amazing. But also what I know is that my VO2 max, which is a measure of cardiovascular health, has actually gotten lower, gotten worse. Being a scientist, I recognize that there's a lot of variables that could be involved in this. So I'm really pushing myself to not be discouraged, but it is a little discouraging to go from above average VO2 max for the first time in forever, when I was just doing swimming, which I would consider. I know it's a good cardiovascular exercise, but it was definitely not as difficult as going to the gym and doing what I do at the gym. So it's a little discouraging in that sense, but I can feel how good my body feels right now. Also, I have lost 5 pounds. Great, it really is. I don't want to take away. I always find something to be negative from this, but I am still 25 pounds. Let me think. Yeah, about 20 pounds away from what I should be, what I have been my entire life. So the weight I am now is not a weight that I have ever been before, unless I was pregnant. So we got some work to do there. So let's move on to psychological health. Hi. I finished recently a 12 session psychotherapy course, class sessions with a psychotherapist, surprisingly enough. And we worked through a PTSD series of classes, which was absolutely amazing and really made a difference to my day-to-day psychological health. I'm better able to separate things and recognize like destructive patterns. And I do notice that I feel lighter. You know what I'm going to do now? That said, the PTSD, the therapy that I did was addressing trauma from my upbringing, same as everyone else's trauma. We've all got the trauma, but that was the trauma that I was working on in those sessions. The workplace trauma that I experienced, and this is the reason for my mental health leave, that is still something I have to tackle. And I really was at a standstill with that. And I feel doing the personal therapy has been a window into then moving on and trying to work through this really complicated and upsetting workplace trauma that has set off a whole bunch of issues for me, a whole bunch of problems that I'm working through. I listened to a podcast today. Podcasts, are they really podcasts when they're like videos of people doing interviews? I think they're still described as podcasts, but this is a pointless thing that I'm saying right now. I watched a video on YouTube today, and the name of the channel is Alive with Steve Burns. So Steve Burns is the voice of Blue's Clues, which was like a really popular Canadian show, probably aired in the US too. I did not watch it because at that point, I don't even think I lived in Canada at that point. I think I was still in the UK. And even if I didn't have kids, so I wouldn't have been consuming that. But this guy, I can really connect with him. I really find some similarities between our personalities, and he's got such an amazing, calming voice, such a great guy, about the same age. So I really highly recommend you check that out. Really great guy, really great show that he's doing. And the episode today had a doctor on there called Desiree Jones, and she was talking about neurodivergence. And wow, I felt really seen. It was a really great episode for those of us who have ADHD. And now, I don't even want to say it on here. I don't think I'm really going to go into all of the psychological things I've got going on. But neurodivergent for sure. And that show really helped me to explain some of my thought processes. So The fact that I'm doing this video right now shows that my psychological health is massively improved, and my doctor has mentioned it too. I had my check-in yesterday with the doctor, and she said I look like a different person. And my friends have also told me, "You look like a different person." I really wanna do this work. I really wanna get back to being able to function as a professional, as a healthcare professional, because that really is what lights me up. And looking at my face on this video and the last video and the feelings that I've had for the last few days, having made this will be my third post on my channel in 3 weeks. And I feel excited again. I feel like this is a right move. So we're going to keep pushing forward with that. Next topic we're going to update on is emotional resilience. I have been very mindful for the last couple of months since I was deep into the therapy. And when I say mindful, I use like the Ellen Langer definition of mindful, which is just noticing things. And I am very, very aware of my emotional reactions to things. And because I'm aware of it, I feel that I am a little more resilient. Again, but, or that said, which is another way of saying but, it doesn't always mean that I can reduce the emotion. Sometimes the emotion just comes out and I act in a way that I don't like. And I don't like that behavior, or I don't like the action that I took. But being aware of that emotion and how it is guiding my decisions, I think is a huge plus. It's a huge bonus. It's a way that I am becoming more emotionally intelligent, or emotionally aware. And emotional resilience is something that I want to keep building on, because that having emotional resilience in the healthcare field, where what we do every day, the way we act, the way we behave, the decisions we make, has such a massive impact on patients' lives, not just patients, but the whole family, the people we work with, the volunteers, the whole healthcare setting. There's such a big impact. There's such a big difference that we make. And emotional resilience is something that I think is desperately needed in that field to protect our own mental health. If I had more of that, maybe I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I'm doing pretty good. Cognitive abilities. So from this video, it looks like, what do you mean you're having issues? Everybody has setbacks. Everybody runs into roadblocks. I truly believe that happens. But I don't doubt for a second that the amount of barriers that I run into every day is a result of cognitive dysfunction. I'm not prepared to talk about this. I don't have all my talking points, so I don't want to get into it. But cognitive abilities, I'm at the beginning of a long road, but I am aware of some improvements. I actually do a questionnaire whenever I see my doctor any psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist. They do the different DSM-5 questionnaires to assess how well you're doing in different areas. And at my appointment on Tuesday, I did, which was 2 days ago for purposes of time frame, I did answer a questionnaire about cognitive abilities. So that would be a good way for me to actually measure the data, to have the metrics there. So I hope to incorporate that in these slides. The last one is spiritual health. Spiritual health is something I wouldn't even have incorporated in this a year ago. And I was going to say I'm hesitant to include it now, but I'm not hesitant to include it now. When I saw my psychiatrist, 6 months ago, it is November now, I started seeing the psychiatrist in March, and I remember reading the report that she wrote about me and commented on how spiritual I was feeling, talking about, I don't know where that came from, what I said to kind of initiate that comment in my records, but I do believe there's a big spiritual part of life, and spirituality, I'm not really a religious person, but spirituality I feel like is so critical in a well-rounded and in a passionate and happy and joyful life. But if I was just going by traditional medicine and psychiatry, then I would not be talking about spirituality because that would have me on a lot of medication. But I am including this in my progress on how well I'm doing because it's an area that I want to keep exploring. So I'm going to mention another podcast which is huge, millions of followers, and that'd be the Mel Robbins podcast. And today, I didn't write the guest she had on, but it dropped today, and today is November the 13th, 2025. So I would encourage you, if you want some like healing for the soul, you might cry a bit. I cried a few times, to go on to the episode that she aired today. What was really awesome about it is that she had her husband on, and they were both affected by the guest. So I'm going to call it there because I hear activity from someone. You really don't want to be on the video, do you? So I'm going to go back and be my motherly, fulfill my motherly duties. Thank you, no one, for listening. I can see there's no one there, and that is okay because I am not quitting. Good night, everyone.